Okay, guys, can you hear me? Can we
Yeah, we
see?
can hear you.
Am I
I can
moving?
hear you now.
Okay, good.
We see you fine.
Let me share my screen, guys.
Is Josh, where is Josh?
Good. So, guys, business planning, right, for 2022. Who done a business plan before over here? All right, so that's good. So, David, this is your first time doing a business plan.
Yeah, formal business plan. I've had tasks and goals and timelines, but nothing sit down formal.
So, why do you think it's important to have a business plan?
I think it's good because it kind of keeps you accountable with your actions along the journey. Um, it kind of gives you something like an ideal to compare to see where you are with your progress.
Yeah.
It also keeps you oriented towards a certain goal.
Yep. Yep. So, Josh, why is it important for you to have a business plan?
I mean, it keeps you focused. Lets you know what your goals are. You need to have your goals. If everything is written down, it's gonna happen and you'll exceed it.
Okay. Ellie, why is it important for you to have a business plan this year?
Because you form your reality with your words. So it's very important for you to understand what you want and your desires. And because truly, if you really do write down your business plan, and in an year or so or 2 years you check it out, you will see the difference. So it really is one of these auto-fulfilling prophecies in a way.
Okay.
Once if you create it, you believe it, it can happen, it will happen.
So, the biggest thing with a business plan, guys, I think is, I would say good 80% of, real estate agents, they do create a business plan. However, 90% of the agents, when they create a business plan, the next time they're going to actually look at the business plan is the following year when they're going to be reviewing the business plan, right? So the business plan, it's called a plan for a reason, just like a GPS. When you punch in the address, you constantly watch the GPS, where you got to make those turns. The same thing with the business plan. The business plan probably throughout the year is going to change a bit. It's not going to stay the same, right? You're going to realize some things which they might be working for you or not working for you, and make those adjustments so you can really reach your destination. Now, your business plan, it's yours, right? Like Josh's goals, Ellie's goals, and young David's goals, they're going to be all different. They don't have to be the same. So a little bit about me. Been doing it forever, since 2004. That's when I got my license. Been in the industry for a while. I'm also a real estate investor. Buy anything from singles to multis to condos to pre-construction, and some Airbnbs. Right now, we're working on some Airbnbs upstate, and I'm also a business coach with the Town Ferry. What we're gonna cover today. So part A, it's really the foundation. And as you know, a foundation in a business, that's why is it called a foundation? Because that's really the basic for your business, right? Like just like a house, if the foundation is not good enough, strong enough, is it gonna really hold the whole structure above it? It's not gonna hold it, right? You see the skyscrapers, they can go 100 floors up. What is the first thing they build is the foundation, right? So the foundation has to be solid. If the foundation is good, you can really build your business on top of it and really make it happen. If the foundation is shaky, if it's not complete, if it has just 3 legs instead of 4 legs, what's going to happen as you start building the business on top of it? Eventually, it's going to fall down. It's going to destroy everything you put into work, right? So let's really, let's spend a good amount of time, I would say, on the foundation just to make sure that it's solid. Okay. Part B, we're going to talk about a pre-planning analysis, a SWOT analysis. Does anybody know what SWOT analysis stands for over here? Go ahead, David. You have to unmute yourself. You muted. We can't hear you.
Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats.
Yes, very good. Good job, David. Part C, we're going to talk about some business goals, how you're going to set those goals, financial goals, of course. We work for money over here. Annual transaction goals, and that's going to translate really into the activity, right? Part E is marketing and lead generation planning. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to cover that up, but if we do, we're going to talk about the transactions, actual goals 2021 review, some of the marketing channels and marketing initiatives for 2022, and maybe we can cover some operations planning as well. This is a good saying, right? Ellie, can you read it for us?
A goal without a plan is just a wish.
Yes.
And the writer is from the Prince, the Little Prince, right?
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say a wish. I would say a dream, right? like dream without a plan, it's not really a goal. It's just a dream, and it's most likely not going to happen. So part A foundation, guys. So what's your why, Josh? Why you do what you do?
Love helping people, want to be financially independent, and want to help my family out.
Okay. When you say financial independent, what it mean for you? Making, $1,000 a month, $1,000,000 a month, like be more specific.
What's my number?
Yeah.
20 grand a month.
Okay. It's nice. What about you, Ali? What's your why?
My why is to have a great quality life, to help my family, see my family happy and really enjoy together, that for us to enjoy together, to help people out, and to learn a lot, and to really really learn and develop my potential. That's my why, and the
What about,
potential of those around me
yeah,
as well in the
that's
means.
that's great. So also give back to other people as well and help them grow too
Exactly,
at the same time. Okay.
exactly, and all that I can.
Teacher mentality, sort of.
So yeah, similar to you, John. You're the best. You're the coach here.
Not the best, but I try.
Yeah, man.
So what about you, David?
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali.
I would say also to live, a high quality life, to be able to spend time with my family, not so much have to worry about the financial burdens of life. So I could focus on, my own self development, building up my family around me, you know, being an active member in the community. Um, yeah, just to help people, having a similar experience that I had growing up in this community. You know, I think that would be really rewarding.
So I love that, guys, right? Because I think all of us, and I think, human beings in general, right, they have, I think, really good why, good reasons. And all of us, I heard the family over there. It was for all of us the same, right? Being financially independent so we can really do the things, what we really want to do, and give back to people and help everybody else, grow as well. So that's a great why. What about vision? What is vision, guys? By the way, what does it stand for, really?
It's your goals.
Anybody, just raise a hand and go for it.
Your
Your
goals.
goals.
Where
Okay.
you're trying to go.
Okay. Okay. Your goals. Something you're going for, right?
So vision is the faculty or state of being able to see.
Okay. Did you just Google that shit or whatever? Something.
Yeah.
I
The ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom.
love that.
I
That's a
like
good
that.
one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah. Uncle Google is always the smartest, huh?
Yeah, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, he's the best uncle. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
What about you, David? I mean, what's a vision for you, really?
A vision for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would like to look back, after the next 5 years, and kind of just be able to see my progress that I've had, along the whole journey, starting off fresh, brand new, not really knowing anything, and being able to reflect on those experiences, that led me to the point and where I am, in that present place and time. Yeah, I think it's something to aim towards, an ideal that you can compare yourself to from yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, what's your vision, Josh? What's your vision in the next 5 years? Because I would just say, let's just don't plan this year. Let's just don't go for 2022 with a vision. Let's go for 5 years and 10 years vision. So that way we can make sure that next year sort of aligns into the 5 and 10 year vision. So what's your 5 year vision, Josh?
I want to own a property every year for 5 years. So a new property every year.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. I want to, take a few more vacations because I barely go on vacations and stuff anymore. I just always working. So a little more free time. And I want to be healthier. Invest in my body. I'm not fully investing into my body right now, but I want to eat healthier, and all that costs money. So
You got the bowl today, right? How was the bowl, by the way?
Bowl. Got a little quinoa. I treated myself today.
It was good. It looked good. Smell good too. What about you, Ali? What is your vision, bro?
What did you first of all? What did you guess, Josh? You got a haircut?
What? No,
You
a
you
bowl.
got a bold? A
A bowl.
bold?
Bowl. A bowl.
What is that?
Instead of a
Maybe
wrap,
Chipotle
a
bowl.
bowl.
Yeah, like a food, like a
Bowl,
food.
bro.
A bowl. Ah, food. Okay. Okay. So my 5-year vision.
Yep.
There's a few things there. First of all, would be to, in the very proximate future, to buy my first investment property and to start to, if I'm not buying them, or at least start to work on projects of buying investment property with other people, by myself, with my own money, or starting to understand how to develop and really understand how to buy and sell real estate. I think that's one of the, let's say, financial goals. Then, spiritually, I would like to keep growing in my community, like spiritual community, and start and keep helping people to realize spiritual health and life, and to enjoy life in that sense, and try to grow something bigger than myself with that the next 5 years, in this, as a spiritual goal. And as well, to really find, if it is time for me to find my wife or something, also that could totally happen next 5 years. I'm open-minded to that, and to really form a family and all these things. And then to really keep learning how to be about development, because I feel this is amazing. I think it's very creative, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. And to keep learning how to work in real estate. And the hard part, but also what I want to work on, my potential is to be more organized, to work more on my organization skills, which I believe, I trust myself. If I look back 1 year ago and now, I feel I'm much more organized now than 1 year ago. So that's it. That's pretty much it. I
Good.
think that's a vision I have for the next 5 years.
Good. Good,
Continue
man.
on that.
What about you, David? What's your vision in 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
I would, 100%. I'm going to be out of my parents' house. Maybe I'll be with my girlfriend. She graduates school in a few years. I would like to be well reputable by that time in the industry. Have a nice, large database of people that I've done business with and made transactions with throughout the previous 5 years. I would, obviously be healthy, which I do prioritize now still. So I don't see that being an issue. God willing, everything is the same way in the future. And be able to spend a lot of time with my parents, and they'll be retired by then, I would imagine, and then just take on a lot of responsibility. Some things that I would have been scared to do maybe now, by then I would do it no problem. Just take on larger tasks, complete larger goals, and just grow like exponentially.
Love that. And I love the clarity on not being in your parents' house in 5
I
years.
can't stand it. I'm disgusted with it. I need to make a change. So I got it. I have to do it.
So that's all great, guys. And I always say, with the vision, you want to be as clear as possible, because it's just like when you're driving a car, right? So when you're driving a car and it's really foggy outside, the windshield, the wipers, they kind of not really working. That's maybe a blizzard outside, so it's really pouring on the windshield. You can barely see anything. Now, plus on top of it, it's night too, and the road is not straight. There's so many curves, right? Like how fast you can go. You can go really fast. You really got to go really slow, right? So the same thing with a vision. If you're driving your car and it's so nice and sunny, you can see everything. I mean, the windshield is clear, right? The road is straight, and you can just press the gas, to the bottom. How fast you can go? You can go as fast as the car can go, right? So the way you have to look at it, the more clear your vision is going to be, the faster and the easier you're actually going to be able to get there. So and I know this is kind of hard for a lot of people to really take the time and to sort of envision where you want to be at. But I would encourage you, number one, think big with this because you have only one life to live. We're not coming back. The 5 years, guys, the 5 years is going to pass quick. It's going to pass super fast, right? So at least think big. And the moment you're going to start thinking big and you envision something huge and humongous, automatically you're going to build those steps what it will take to get you there. Okay. So try to perfect that vision. All right. What's the mission? What the mission stands for, guys?
The mission is the standard in which you in which you conduct your life or your business. It's something that, like, again, it's an ideal that you hold yourself to. Like, for instance, at Five Bro at the restaurant, it's like we aim to serve our guests with healthy, high quality products, amazing customer service. And that's what we pride ourselves on.
Yes. Yeah. And the mission is something, David, which you let the public know about it, right? Like, you as a restaurant, as an establishment, you want to be known by that. That's
exactly
right. With a vision, guys, by the way, you don't necessarily put that out what your vision is, right, to the public. Of course, the people on your team, right, they should know the vision, what the vision really is, but not necessarily the public. What are the values, guys? What are some of the values you guys have, Josh?
Yeah, look at the board.
But I give you like a cheat sheet here.
That's cheating. It's cheating.
Hey.
What about you, Ed?
Be accountable.
Okay, you love that one, right? Don't you?
Of course.
That's
my specialty.
But what about you, David?
Conduct yourself with some integrity and being honest. And being honest and having integrity in what you do.
Now we all have values, I think, and we all have like a good values. But I want to ask you a question. Do we necessarily live by those values? And do we necessarily, do our business by those values and work with people with the same values?
Nah.
The answer is
really
ideally, but it doesn't seem to be the case all the time.
Yeah.
You would hope that is the case, but it's not always the case.
And when we're not aligned with our values, right? Like, Josh, how does that make you feel? When your thing is to work hard and give it all, and then you might be working with a buyer or seller, or maybe with an agent, which he's dragging feet. He comes up with a puppy to showing half drunk. They take forever to really get you to paperwork. Like, how does that make you feel along the way?
But I don't like it.
It makes you feel like shit, right? It's like
it makes me feel like why are they even working? Do everything. Yeah. So
I think it's really like it's pulling you apart, right, David? And I think now you got a choice to make. You could either sort of give up your values and take somebody else's values, so at least that way you'll be aligned, who you are. I'll let that change you, not necessarily in a good way, maybe in a bad way, right? Or you could simply, stand what's right and what's right to you, and just don't do the business with the people and simply walk away. And at least being aligned, right? And I think many times we almost afraid of losing the business because we're like, oh man, I know he's gonna buy. I know he's lying. He's working with 10 different agents, but I want to give it a shot now. And he's gonna fuck you. Excuse my language. You know that. And guess what happens?
He fucks you.
Online, you get a phone call. Eric, thank you so much. You've been fantastic. But we bought a house with David because David had the listing, and we went to him directly. So thank you very much, though. I appreciate that. And it's gonna make you feel bad, and you're gonna get angry, right? And maybe it's gonna change you where next time you're gonna feel like, you know what? Everybody's cheating, everybody's bad. I might as well cheat too now. Now you're changing your values, right? So I mean, for me, the values, I know we all struggle with it, guys. This is not just applicable to the business, by the way. It's applicable to relationships. I mean, it's applicable to anything and everything, we do in life. So I would suggest, David, I know you guys, we have some values, but write down your values and really live and die by those values. If somebody doesn't align with those values, sorry, maybe we're not meant to be for each other. I guess, it's time for you to find somebody else, and it's okay. You will get a lot more business actually that way. Okay. So this talks about the why a little bit, talk about it in detail. We already covered that. So SWOT analysis, guys. So we said strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So Josh, what are some of your strengths, man?
On time, I'll get the job done. Do what I got to do.
Okay.
My personality.
So just give me one. So you're on time. Okay, that's great. What about you, Ellie? What's your strength?
Profit seeker.
Profit seeker. Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I look for the good deal.
The good deal. Okay.
I look for a deal that leaves more profit than the cost. I try to look for that.
You mean for the buyer? So you're able to find like a cheaper deal somewhere?
More maybe for myself. For get profit in any type of sale, whatever it is, to try to find something that's
so probably good negotiator, maybe negotiate well. Would you say?
Yeah, or I look around a lot, something like that. So a good
You shopper,
to look around.
You like Black Friday discounts?
Yeah, you can say that.
Mondays. Okay.
Something like that. Some word like that.
What about you, David?
I would say probably my ability to relate and communicate with people from a different range of societies, cultures, ethnic backgrounds. I think I mean I love doing it. I do it all the time. I think that's what I can really good. I think I'm really good at communicating with people from a wide background of whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yeah. You can mingle with everybody. Good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. He was from Brazil, Sergio da Costa, and he used to tell me, he likes two type of girls, and he say, he likes national, international. And I think that's probably, sort of applies to this analogy, right? Like, who's your perfect client? What type of people you like to work with? And I think that doesn't really matter as long as the people they're serious and they're ready to go. I think you should be working with everybody, and you should adjust. I think to the people, so you could be working with them. Doesn't matter on the personality or type. So it's great. What are some of your weaknesses, Ellie?
That I'm not consistent, or I do things in a very 9-10 potential, then slow down, and then again, then slow down. I have a pattern.
Okay.
Even when in sports, same thing, pretty much. Like it's kind of like that.
And sometimes, guys, by the way, the weaknesses, they could be your strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when we work on the weaknesses, then they can become our biggest strength. So it's always, I think for me, especially if I interview for any job, I always ask the people, what is your weakness? Because I think that's really a strength. So what about you, Josh? What is your weakness?
I'm a perfectionist.
Right back.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I love that.
But it's also a strength, you see.
Also a strength. That's right.
Gift and a curse.
Yes. Well, and you know what? I have to give you hands down on that, because I remember, this kind of applied to a lot of things, but I remember, with videos, when you start shooting videos, right? You spend like 2-3 hours like shooting it up over here in the office, and now you take 3 minutes and it's done.
And it would take me like 2-3 days.
Yeah, and it's so much better too, right, at the same time. So it's good, man. I'm proud of you. What about you, David? What's your weakness?
I think we spoke about the analysis paralysis a little bit, and exactly. And I think also I can become a little easily distracted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sort of like Josh and Ellie, combination of those two guys.
A little bit of both. Yeah, okay. Exactly.
I love that. And again, you can relate to them probably in that sense too, right? So that's awesome. Opportunities. What are some of the opportunities in the market, guys?
Social media.
Okay, love that. Okay. So TikTok.
Understanding your market. Understanding the community that you're serving.
Okay.
So John, strength, opportunity and threat refer to the company, correct? To your business.
So that's more external. So the strengths and weaknesses, that refers to you personally, and the opportunities and threats that's more external. So that could be different agents, that could be the market, it could be different companies, different competition. That's external.
Hmm.
So what are some of your opportunities you feel like in the marketplace today?
In the COI and the database we work with,
Okay.
and the tools, the tool sets, making everything so much easier. I bet it's much easier today to work than 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And of course, the market and the opportunity of living in neighborhoods, and speaking with your neighbors. All these things are big opportunities for us.
Okay. So mainly resources, I think, right? It's really having the resources, on your fingertips today. It definitely it sets you apart from the competition. What are some of the threats, Josh, you feel like in the marketplace today?
Um, Dealing with agents that are not on my like work ethic. Like they slack off, they take their time, they're a little shady, this that. Like people that are not on the same mindset and vision that I am. Like I want to boom get the job done. I want to provide the best service that I can, and other people take their time, move slow. It's not on the same level, so that's a threat.
What about you, David? What do you feel like it would be some of the threats for you and your business?
I think my biggest threat at times is gonna be myself. My mentality. You know, um, thinking. Too much inner reflection, overthinking. Over planning. Obviously, if you take into account, potential competition in the market. But I think the biggest one would probably be myself.
Okay. And by the way, to analyze stuff sort of and being tactical, it could be a biggest strength because think about it like this, and the great CEO, right? The reason why they are a great CEO because they're really tactical and strategic. So you always gotta think like what you're gonna do, right? You're way better off than just by shooting off the hip. However, the moment you come up with some strategy, right, you gotta take action on it, for a certain time before you analyze it again to see, if it's working or if it's not working or how you can make it better. Okay, so planning and action. What about you, Ellie?
So in a way like this, the weakness is your biggest strength. Your threat is your biggest teacher, right? So I would say it is myself as well. But if I would look into the market, I can't really find anything. I don't relate exactly right now to something. But if I were, let's say, I would notice other teams, for example, what they're doing good, like what they're doing really good. I would notice uh, I would look at all of these, more technological things that are coming up and see it as a threat, but it's also an opportunity to embrace it and understand. And yeah, what other teams are doing better than I or than us? That's what I would see into a threat. How are they closing more deals? Why do they close, 60, 70 deals in a year? And or for myself, whatever I close, and I would look at it that in that sense, and to learn from that as a threat.
Okay. And so similarly, right, the threats and the opportunities they can switch to. Some of the threats actually could become your opportunities, and some of the opportunities they could become your threats too if you're too comfortable in it as well. So,
Mhm.
so that's great, guys. So let's talk about the financial goals now, right? I would really say, start with a financial goal. Don't just pick a number, really, but really pick a number, right, which is going to fulfill your vision. And what I mean by that, right, Josh, if you say, you want to buy a house a year, let's say one house per year, how much money are you going to need for the down payment and closing costs? Work with me.
So it depends what area, what market I'm buying it in. So, um, let's just say I'm buying something out of state, something that's uh, let's just go with 300,000. So 25% down. So 300,000 times 25%. 75 plus, so 300,000 minus 75 times 5%. So with another maybe 11, 12 grand, 12 grand.
So let's say 100,000 to round it up. Maybe you're gonna need something for reserves, maybe something for renovations, right?
Reserve renovations, yeah. So 100.
Okay, so 100K. What are the goals you have? What else you have to do?
This is for a year.
This
Uh,
is
I want to go on a trip once a quarter.
once a quarter. Okay, how much that's gonna cost you?
Uh,
8G.
$3,000.
Per trip?
Three
Come
grand
on,
per
guys.
trip. That's flight. What more?
David, how much?
For what?
Per trip?
For a trip? And if you're gonna go with your girl, you gotta pay a little more, man. You gotta looking at like at least 2G's. You know, 2G's between a trip. Looking at
I
like
said
At
three.
least, at
I
least,
said
at
three.
least three.
at
Yeah,
least, Josh.
looking at like 10 to 12G's a year.
What
in
what are you
travel.
gonna get? Like
I
Maruchan
said
or
3 grand. I
lobster?
said $3,000 a trip.
All right, all right.
I'll give you, sparkle it up a little bit. You want to go maybe Turks and Caicos. You want to go nice states, right? Because at the same time, guys, you can never go wrong with spending money on yourself, I think. Because, what it does, it makes you feel like $1,000,000 guy, right? And when you feel
Investment.
like $1,000,000, you're going to perform like $1,000,000 too, right? Versus you're cheap on yourself. Ellie, you paying attention?
Of course I am.
You're cheap on
I'm
yourself,
writing down.
right? Like, spending money on yourself and you feel like a beggar, then your performance is cheap too.
So let's go five grand a trip.
All right, now we're talking. Let's go.
Yeah, boy.
And you're probably going to take me one of the trips too, man. Okay? That's for the inspiration.
$5 grand a trip.
20K a year.
Self-reliant.
Now you got to pay for your expenses, right? Like your personal expenses. Just going to make the numbers up, okay? Ellie, what's your personal expenses?
Yes. It's getting higher and higher, man. I do the Excel every month.
Good. You deserve it. You're worth it.
I know it's a bit crazy. I'm trying to keep it at I
2,000
don't
a
want
month?
to. Sorry?
2 grand a month?
$2 grand a month.
No more. I spend more.
You spend more. Okay, how much?
Let's say 3 grand.
Oh, because you rent.
Well, but I pay college. I have to pay. It's like the car with the high insurance.
I thought you got scholarship, bro. That's why
I
you
still
going.
have to pay. Yeah, but you get scholarships not free.
Um,
They have to pay. Good deal. Delegate.
Okay, so personal expense, 3 grand a month, right? That's 36,000 per year.
Yeah.
Any debt? Any credit card debts you want to pay off?
Nothing. God bless.
Me, David?
Credit card debt? No, thank God.
Good. Okay. So what else should be on it? What else do we want to do? So we got investment property, personal expenses covered up, travel is there. What else?
And then education, if you're doing coaching or you're doing whatever it is that you want to books, whatever it is that you're studying, right? You have to have a budget for maybe going to investment seminars, all these things.
So let's say education.
Maybe put into a Roth IRA or something like that.
Education and exercise could be together because it's not always free to do things, right? To go to the gym.
So that's part of your personal expenses already.
Okay.
What about business expenses? You're gonna have some business expenses, right?
A lot.
Like your car, the gas, the insurance, the cell phone, the internet.
Yeah.
Josh, the trips. Hey, that was a business trip. I was meeting an investor in Turks and Caicos, possibly looking to buy investment in New York. I mean, why not? Right? So you're gonna have some business expenses as well. How much did you say? 10,000, 20,000, 30,000
for the year.
for a year, not per month, David.
For the business expense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of it you can probably help write off, but you're looking at a few G's a month, I would say, in business expenses. If you're talking about, let's say somebody closes, you get them a bottle of champagne, you take them out to dinner, you schmooze them, it's like it starts to add up. Also, you're looking at gas, you're looking at business cards. Maybe you want to do MLS, you have to, register for MLS. Advertisements. You can use a lot of money in advertisements if you do that.
Yeah.
It starts to pile up, depending on how you scale your business.
20,000?
20,000, exactly.
20K, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Now, this is just an example. I mean, you guys, I'm going to give you homework, right? All of this you're going to do by yourself, and then, we'll get together, we'll review. But I'm just giving you something to work with. So 20,000 in business, right? So let's add it now. So we got 156, 161, 181. Oh, by the way, we did forget one expense, the biggest expense you're gonna have.
Oh,
Your rent, no?
no, I got it.
It's part of the personal expenses, David.
Say it again.
That should be part of the personal expenses.
Oh, okay.
Josh,
Your time.
Your taxes.
your taxes. Yes, the biggest expense, guys. Your taxes. Welcome in America. You pay taxes over here.
Was it 34%?
So I mean, what I'll do, okay, and again, that's going to be depending on your tax bracket, right? But let's say 35%. So what we're going to do, we got to roll this number into it. So I'll take 181. 181 times 100. Now you want to keep this as accurate as possible. However, at the same time, you got to keep it simple, stupid. Okay. So don't overcomplicate things, David. Okay, just figure out the numbers approximately, put it together. Okay. Now, what is the average commission, guys, per sign?
1.5%.
No, give me dollar amount. Don't give me the percentage. Josh, how much do you make on the average per sign? 8,000.
8,000.
Okay, so $8,000, right? So I'll take 244,000 divided by $8,000. What is it? 30, 44.
Maybe like 300 transactions.
30.
30 transactions. I'm sorry.
Okay,
300 is crazy.
A lot of transactions.
So there's 30 transactions. Everybody follow so far?
Yep.
Everybody's with me, David? Any questions on this? Okay, now, really important, another setback is, guys, most real estate agents, they're always late on their taxes, right?
Say it again.
Most real estate agents, they're always late on their taxes. Because one of the benefits for you to work as a real estate agent as an independent contractor, right, 1099, or getting incorporated, is that you don't pay taxes as W-2. Your employer doesn't pay taxes for you. He simply gives you the whole thing, and then you're responsible for the taxes, right? So how this works is actually good because you get 244,000. The business expenses is tax deductible, right? The education is tax deductible. The personal, income, that's tax deductible because you're paying yourself for your business as well, right? The travel is tax deductible because you can roll it into a business, and the buying a home, you could make some deductions on that. If you put portion of the money into like an IRA, right? Root IRA, maybe solo IRA, you can also write off some of the stuff. So you're not going to pay tax on the whole thing. You're going to save a lot of money. Okay.
You could also view that as some sort of an investment, right? If you're purchasing a property, so it's not a total loss because if you hold it after a certain amount of time, you're going to be able to turn, make a profit for it. So
to claim this as an expense, as a business expense?
Not necessarily a business expense, but I wouldn't count it as a total loss. I think that there is with time that could potentially be, an investment,
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be investment for you, right? The only way you will be able to write this off from the business, let's just say if you will be buying a building for your office, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you can write that off as an expense.
Okay.
But if you would be buying, just a separate investment property, let's say rental property, that's a different business. Then you cannot write that off, if that makes sense. What you could do though, you could loan that money to another company you have. You can loan that money and show that as an expense. You buy the building under the another LLC, and then you can have a payback time, over 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You can be getting the money back from it.
So you take it as a debt in a way, and you don't pay the tax on the debt with the other company.
No,
That's what you mean?
As an expense. So when you're loaning money out, that would be as an expense, just like you pay yourself, right? It shows an expense in your accounting books. That's how you show it.
Okay.
So now the biggest challenge, guys, is you're gonna be getting paid well. You're gonna be getting some nice checks, right, Ellie? And it always makes you feel good. The biggest thing is when you get that check, you have to make sure that you disperse the money right away. So that way, you're not overspending for stupid stuff, and you really invest in your future, and you're putting money aside for the taxes as well, right? So the way you would do it, you would add the business, the education, and the personal and the travel. Let's just say this is all business expenses. Okay, sounds good. Let's just say this is for your future. That's your saving. And let's just say the taxes, right? That's the difference between 181 and 244, 350. 244, 350 minus the 181. It's about $63,350. 350. That's taxes. You're gonna calculate the percentages. Okay, so you take 63,350. 63,350. Josh, if you can, in the meantime, can you see these figures? Just add it for me together and give me the figure.
No, I can't.
You can? So let's do 26%. That's, thank you, my brother. 26%. Then you got expenses, and you got discounting divided by 41%.
That one's 81.
81 divided by 244, 350. It's about 33%. So David, what am I doing, man?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, what did I do over here? What did I calculate the percentages?
Are you taking the money you've made and allocating it accordingly to your expenses?
Yeah, exactly. So I broken down the expenses based upon the income, what the expense actually is. Now when you get paid $8,000, right? You're dividing it automatically by the percentage, Josh. I mean, you're doing this, Josh, already, right?
Yeah, I do it.
When you're getting the check, I mean, you break that down. You put money in your taxes. You keep money in your expenses account.
Yeah.
You put money for the savings, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so that's great. Any questions, guys, on this? No. You good? You good?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So let me delete this. Can I delete this, guys? We don't need this.
Yeah.
So let's do a little planning. I know we have few minutes to go, and I know you, Josh and Ellie. I mean, they know about this stuff. We talk about this stuff all the time, right? And I think this is really essential for you, David, to understand and to sort of this is your number one job, I think, as a salesperson. I mean, and even if you're a business person or a CEO, this is my job actually to know my numbers. Know your numbers. Now, David, what do I mean by that? Know your numbers.
I've actually been learning a lot about that, especially beginning in real estate. You have to make up in numbers what you lack in skill and experience. So actually, I was listening to a lot of Jim Rohn, and he had some good stuff about ratios and having an opening ratio. So pretty much like how many people do I need to contact in order to get one lead, for instance. So if I have to contact 100 people to get one lead, and my goal is to get 5 leads, then I have to contact 500 people. And he was talking about how it's a magical thing because ratios, it's like you don't have to know why they work, you just have to know that they work. It's like if you do this, then this will happen. Especially us being, at the end of the day, salesmen. Essentially, we're selling a service that we have to offer, and we're like, there's millions of options. Why do you choose to go with me as opposed to somebody else? Really, it's going to come down to how many people you get in contact with, how many hands you're shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's say if you needed, for instance, you needed to do 30 interactions to get to that number that we just did, then and every 100 people you get one interaction, then you're going to do 3,000 interactions to get those 30 in order to cover your expenses, essentially.
Yep, exactly. I mean, great job, man. I'm very impressed that you know about this. Okay, so number one, right? Know your numbers. Number two, it's to track the numbers.
To track them.
You have to track the numbers. Okay, that's sort of like the second step. Why is that important to track your numbers, Josh?
Because if you don't track it, you don't know what you did. You don't have to guess. You don't have to assume. You want to write it down and know exactly what you did.
You got to know where you are, right? You want to add something to it, my brother?
Yeah, that's true. Yesterday I had 14 conversations, and I looked at it today. And like, hey, I could have made one more and get the. But if I would have tracked the numbers,
no, it was just one more phone call, right?
My question is, do you guys have a system that you guys have to track those numbers, or if you could recommend a program or something like that?
Yes. I mean, we're big on that. I can just quickly show you some of the secret weapons we have over here.
Don't show me too much. I would appreciate it.
Just want to give you a small taste. So this is, we track conversations, right? Then from conversations, you have appointments map, how many people you sign, and then goes to contracts and closings, right? So that's what you got to track, basically. And a lot of the stuff is tracked automatically through our CRM. Then you got some of the key activities over here, which the guys, they track it manually.
Okay.
See a lot of like a social media here. So, and of course, you got to have it fun, right? That's what Ellie was talking about. You got to have some challenge, behind it where you can actually track your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To really help you to stay on track, All right. You can use simple Excel sheet too. I mean, whatever works, you use that. You know what I mean?
John, if you're sharing your screen, we're not able to see Sisu or anything. I don't know if you were putting something on.
Oh, you haven't seen anything, guys? David?
No.
Oh, sorry, bummer. Okay, let me share that. Thank you, Ellie.
I noticed I noticed your body movement compared to the thing.
Yeah. I was thinking you guys were looking at it. So okay, let's go again. So tracking and measuring I think is essential. So I'll show you Josh's, since you know Josh, right?
Yes, sir.
So this kind of it's kind of nice. It tells you, we calculate the goals and behind, so it tells you where you gotta be monthly. And this black line, it shows you where you gotta be basically up to date, right? And it shows you, up to date, that you were behind, you're ahead, So conversations, right? What follows? You set the appointments. That's the reason why you're calling people. You got
so now. This is essentially you have 500 conversations more to have before the end of the month, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Right now, the number is different for everybody because everybody has different goals. Number one. And number two, everybody has different what, Josh?
Different numbers.
Why? Why you have a different number? That's actually a
You
point
gotta
number.
know your numbers.
Know your own numbers, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody numbers is different because of the goals. But why is it also different, Ellie?
Because your transition towards the next step, the next ratio is different for each person. For example, one can maybe do 10 conversations and get 2 appointments, or 10 you get 5. And there's another one I thought of today between the dials and the conversation. You can also measure how much people want to answer the phone when you call.
Yes.
If you have so many dials and not that many conversations, maybe your image towards others is not the best for them to answer. So that's another one, another tweak.
Yeah, I mean that's huge, right? So I mean everybody conversion slash skill set is different, right? So for example, maybe Josh has to speak to 10 people to set an appointment, and for Ellie maybe 12. Right? But maybe for Ellie can maybe sit down with 3 people and get 1 contract, and for Josh maybe he can sit down just with 2 people and get 1 contract. Right? So you got to check all those numbers, not only to know where you are proportion to your goal, but you also got to see what is your conversion and your skill set level, so you can readjust the goal or maybe the activities you have to do really to get to the goal. Make sense?
Yeah. As also you get better at doing it, you have a higher success ratio.
Exactly. And of course, what you can do, you want to gamify it, you want to make it fun. So this is for November, by the way, right? And Josh is on the top still.
You winning. Let's go, Josh.
Josh, can you take the win, bro? Can you? You saw this one, David, before, right?
I saw it on social media.
So you saw the belt. So I mean, the champion's gonna get a belt. Plus, we have money on it too. Because there's really 2 reasons why people are gonna do something, right? Number 1 is to gain pleasure, get paid, and number 2 is to do what, Ellie? You muted.
I don't know what else, man.
Gain pleasure,
Gain
pleasure, and number 2 is to
gain knowledge.
No, avoid what?
Avoid pain.
Avoid pain.
Yeah.
That's right. It's only 2 reasons, guys, why people do something.
But people prefer to. It's more. They prefer to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the personality. I always say you got to make sure you have both. Right? Make sure you get some pleasure for the winner and have some pain for the loser too. Because nobody wants to lose, nobody wants to hurt, nobody wants to lose money, right? So, yeah, gamify it. That's really important. Okay, make it fun, make it simple, make it easy so you can follow it. So back to the business plan, guys. So yeah, numbers. Right?
Thank you for that, by the way. Thank you for that.
No worries, man. So number 3, you got to know conversion, because that's going to tell you what your skill set is, and that's going to help you to wake up the numbers so you can hit your goal, right? So, like you said, can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Let me go back. Oh, here you are. Okay. So, 30 deals. Let's say a half of them is going to be 15 is going to be buyers, 15 is going to be sellers. Buyers, sellers, right? So, Josh, if you want to do 15 sellers, right, how many listings do you have to take?
If you want to do 15, if you have 30?
If you want to sell 15 sellers, right, how many listings do you have to take?
45?
No.
30?
No. How many do you have to list it? Right?
Oh, if you want to sell,
everything sells today, right?
So what percentage of listings?
25? 25?
Change mine.
20?
I would say probably maybe 17, 18. Probably only 3 are going to sell, right? Like you see all of our listings, everything sells, right? Nothing really expires. So most of it sells. So I would say probably 18 listing taken. Now here's the point, right? In order to get listing taken, how many do you have to sit down with? And again, there's going to be everybody's ratio is going to be different. Maybe for me, if I sit down with 10 sellers, I'm going to list 9. Maybe for you, Josh, it's going to be out of 10, maybe 5.
At least 54. For 18, 54 listing appointments.
Would you say every third?
At least.
Well, no. I mean, it depends.
It depends.
There's agents, they take 100%. Right? They sit down with somebody and they list the property because they're good at presenting, right? They're good at qualifying. They're good at their skill set.
They're good at converting.
Doing from the beginning, maybe it's going to be 1 out of 3. I think a good ratio should be 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2.
Like, at least.
Well, then you would need 30.
Yeah, but if we see the more conservative 1 out of 3 for, I think, right?
And again,
look at the numbers.
And again, that's why it's so important, Ellie, right? To check the numbers. So then you can, you should be reviewing your numbers every day like we do, guys. So you can look back and say, hey, what is my ratios now? Oh, my ratios actually improved. Oh, I don't need 54 now. I need only 36. You can always adjust the numbers as you go, right?
Thanks.
So let's go with 1 out of 2. So that's 36. There's 36 listing appointments. Now there's listing appointments of 10. Not all the appointments you're gonna set, you're gonna attend it. So how many do you think, Josh, if you want to sit down with 36, how many do you actually set? 40? 45?
45.
45. Okay. So 45 listings set, right? And in order for you to set 45 listings, how many people you need to speak with? How many sellers?
Amount.
Would you
I
say?
feel like that's harder to convert now to get the listing than it is to get them to to get a seller. I think it's harder to convert a seller to get the listing than it is for the other steps. I feel like that's like one of the biggest steps. So that the ratio may be a little more difficult.
Yeah, and also depending, what sellers you're reaching, right? Like if you're just calling people randomly, like a cold calling, versus like somebody refer you, and then you're calling that seller.
Yeah,
it's
different variables.
Exactly. So I would say 1 out of 10, just to put the numbers out, right? If you speak with 10 people, they sell it. More, Josh?
More.
Or how many?
I would say 20 people. At least
20
people.
Let's go with 20. Hey, I mean, listen, this is just an example.
I call expires. I would call like up hundreds of them. Yeah.
And again, expires, you need to talk to more people, right? That's your number automatically is going to be higher for that. So 900 conversations a day.
Yeah.
Take care. It was nice meeting you.
It was nice to meet you as well, David.
I was thinking same. How many conversations for 36 appointments?
Only 900 for you.
900 conversations for 46 appointments?
Yeah.
That could be 9 days of 100 people.
No, well,
per year.
Per
year. Now, funny enough, guys, I'm gonna break that down for you to the dollar amount, and that's gonna blow your mind. Yeah, because we as salespeople like, oh my God, 900 conversations, but when you what's behind it, right? Versus like paving the pavement outside in 100 degrees, like this is not hard. This is super easy. Okay? So 15 buyers. How many buyers, Josh? You have to put on the contract. Not all of them is gonna close, right? Some of them, for whatever reason, are gonna fall apart.
For 15 closed, how many do I need under contract?
16, 17.
90% close.
Yeah. Deals fall through. This, that. Okay. Yeah. 17. Yeah. 18.
Okay. So 17. Contract. In order 17 under contract, right? How many?
Would you?
I'm muted you, by the way, Ellie. You can always hear your keyboard.
Loud.
Okay?
Is outside.
17 under contract, right? How many actually buyers you have to work with? How many you have to sit down with to put 17 under contract? You know your ratios, by the way. You know your ratios.
I have to meet. It's like probably 30, 25 to 30.
Okay. So in order to get 17.
Yeah.
Okay,
that
so
you work with and like that you're working with.
yep. So
Probably
let's
25. Let's do 25.
okay, so 25 sign. And in order for you to get to the 25, how many of them you actually have to sit down with to get to the 25?
30.
So out of 30, you're gonna pick 25.
No, there's more because there's people that you meet that end up not being able to buy
Yep.
a little more.
One, would you say 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3?
1 out of 2. 1 out of 2.
Okay, so let's say 50.
Yeah. You meet them, things happen, finances, this, that.
And how many you need to speak with to get to the 50?
Buyers,
15.
15.
Okay, so that's 750, right? So that's 750 buyers, 900 conversations with sellers, total of 1,650 conversations, right? Now, how many days of the week we work, guys, per year? I mean, 5 days per week.
6?
How many weeks?
You wanna-
How many weeks
6
off?
times 52.
No, how many weeks off you take, David?
How many weeks off? Say again.
Yeah, how many weeks off?
Let's say you take 4 weeks off
4 weeks?
out of the year, 1 month
Okay.
in total.
Take 6 weeks. You in real estate, take extra off. Josh is going to be doing,
Josh has 3 vacations.
going on travel, right? 5,000 spent, so that's 4 weeks right there. Plus some holidays.
8 weeks. 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
What?
Okay, I love that. Hey, let's do it. I mean, listen. I said it. The vision, right? Think big. Whatever you want to do. Whether you're working 3 days a week or 6 days a week, it's really your choice.
Depends what you think of as work, though.
Yeah.
Depends
Exactly. Like a real estate work when you actually come into the office and
Okay.
calls. That's what I mean. Those kind
Okay.
of. So 8 minus 52, that's 44, right? And 44 times 5 days, 44 times 5 days, that's 220 working days. 220 working days. So 1650 divided by 220, it's about 8 conversations per day, guys. That's your daily number. That's what you gotta focus on, right? That equals to 1650 per year, 750 for buyer, 900 for seller, and that's gonna lead you to the numbers. Now, Ellie, 244,350, right? 244,350 divided by 1,650 conversation. Guess how much it is, guys?
224,000 divided 1,650. It's gonna be around $1.60.
No. That equals to $150. So when you have a conversation with somebody, Ellie, keep in mind you're making $150 by having a conversation with a guy. So if I tell you, Ellie, I'll pay you $150 for speaking to someone over the phone about real estate, how many people are you going to speak with?
Thousands. We should try that, eh?
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is, right? Like, my business would be a lot more profitable if I would tell you, I would say, hey, listen, Ellie, I'll pay you $50 for every conversation you have, and I would keep the 100 for myself. I would make a lot more money than giving you a split. If you think about it.
That's a good idea.
Now it's a job for you, right? If you're going to get a job, David, and they tell you, hey, I'll pay you $250,000 per year, and your main job is to speak to 8 people per day, like, how excited are you going to be to take the job on?
Very excited.
Yeah, you're probably going to be making more conversations, right? So 50 appointments, 45 appointments. Let's do the math. 244,350 divided by 5. Ellie,
Yes.
you know how much is the appointment set worth?
A lot of money, man.
Guess, come on. Just guess.
So if to appointment set So let's say, what was it worth? Like 4K, $4,000, 5,000?
No. Josh, how much you think? Just guess it.
750.
750. David, don't use the calculator. How much you think is the appointment set worth?
If the calls is worth how much again? 250.
$2,600, guys.
Yeah. Well, 3K, 2.6.
You should 4.
Appointment, guys. It's getting interesting, right? So we got 244, 350 divided by 25, 36. Okay, that's
12 grand.
4 grand.
5 grand.
Yeah, Ellie, you were right, but it's on appointment back. 4 grand.
How much? 4 grand?
4 grand.
4 grand, yeah. I
Isn't
got.
it crazy, guys? Like, when you sit down with somebody, Josh, you get paid $4,000.
I wish.
It's freaking nuts. So I would always say, don't look at, oh man, God's gonna ask me fucking numbers, like how many conversations did I do, and we gotta track it. That's why you want to know, because that's money. When you're speaking to somebody over the phone, when you're sitting with somebody face to face, it's just as if you're getting paid $4,000 per sit down. It's pretty incredible, right? So guys, it's 3:30. We gotta wrap up. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I have a brief question. To get your overall number, is that just an ideal that you would like to have, or do you have to do a sample of like 100 to see how many come from that, or you're just pretty much saying this is going to be my number, this is what I want to reach?
Yeah. So start with 100 conversations equal 1 deal.
100 equals 1 deal.
Keep it as a benchmark, and track everything. Okay, track calls, conversations, appointment set, appointment met, buyer sign, showings, offers, contracts. Track all of it, and probably analyze it every 30 days and see where you
And
stand.
that I could put that all on one Excel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put it on one Excel and then just divide the numbers into it. It's easy.
So 100 to 1, you're saying that's a good way to start.
100 is a good way to start. 100 conversations equals 1 sale. Now
So
you're
that's
gonna say 100 conversations. That's a lot of phone calls.
Well, I was actually thinking, can you